Hey y'all, it's Diane with Shellcraft One and my old barn door. And I've had a lot of people ask me how I put my pages in to where they're upright. So this is the journal we worked on in our last video, and we did our tip in. And I'm not completely happy with it. I'm going to do some decorating to it or something to make it pretty, pretty it up. I wanted to take today and do a video and show y'all the different ways that I use to make my pages be upright in my journal. So like I'll show you. Hang on, let me grab some. Okay, so like a lot of times when you have pages in, that you want to put in your journal, that one don't even look a whole page. It is a whole page. Okay, these are from a Sears magazine or a Sears catalog. And when I took them out, they didn't have the binding in the center. They were just page by page. And so I had to figure out a way to put them in to where they can be upright instead of folded like this to go into the journal. So there's several different ways that you can do it, and I'm going to show you as many as possible today in the time slot that we have for our video, so that you can have upright pages in your journal versus, the sideways folded pages. In other words, so that your pages can be, instead of this way, they'll be this way. Okay? So the first and easiest way, a lot of times you can find these composition books, and I use these a lot in my journals because I like to give, I like to put a lot of pages in my journals that people can just write on. They can write on them, they can decorate them, however they want to do it. So you can find these composition journals or composition notebooks. You can find the ones with the grids, and I just go down and I, get rid of the stitching, and then you can pull them out. And you can have a whole page. Okay, so I just add the crease in there, and then that will fit good right inside of my journal. Okay, so you can do it that way. So I have the grid paper. Here's, let me see if I can find the center of this one. Here's just a lined one. See, I haven't taken this one apart yet. So I just take a little X-Acto knife or pair of scissors, and just, pop those stitches out. And then you can pull them out and have upright pages. But what if you have something like this, where you want, see how these just tear out and there's no binding. So in order to get them in the book, you have to fold them in half. Or you can use this different method. So let me just, I'm going to pull a couple of them out. You can do the same thing with your lined sheets. So let me just slide this paper over, because we're going to work with several pieces of that today. So I like to have my holes on the outside because I like the look of the holes. So one of them I'll turn this way, and one of them I'll turn this way. Okay, so now there's several ways that you can do it. You can take your glue, just Aleene's. You can take a glue stick, whatever kind of glue you have on hand. I'm going to use a glue stick just to kind of show you how easy it is to do it with the glue stick. And let me see. I'm just going to take my Oohoo glue stick. Now you can use Oohoo, you can use just the cheap little glue sticks from the dollar store, whatever glue stick you have, and just run a bead of glue up through here. Okay, and then I'm going to turn it sideways. Ooh, we got a lot of glue. Okay, I'm going to take this and stick it back on my Oohoo glue. I made a mess. I didn't even realize I was making a mess. Okay. Now let's just wipe that glue off of there. All right, and then now we have the glue on the edge here. So I'm just going to take this piece and I'm just going to line it up right here and smoosh him down. Okay. And then I'll take like a little card or something. You know, you can do a card, you can do your bone folder, and just press it in and make sure it gets a good hold. Now, that's one way to do it. And if you don't feel like, you know, that's going to be a good enough hold, you can take some washi and put in there. Hang on, let me grab some. Okay, so I would just turn it back sideways, and I would take my washi. Now, I wouldn't do it with just the washi alone, simply because, to me, I don't trust the strength of the washi. But if you've got the glue stick, you know, and you put the glue on there, and then you put the washi down, and of course, this one doesn't want to cooperate with me, but I'm just going to line it right down the crease there. Oh, goodness, I made a mess out of my washi. Okay, here we go. We'll just pull it a little easier. All right, so I'm just going to line this up. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't matter. It's pretty much just to decorate it anyways. So that's good enough. It doesn't have to be perfect, because the Lord knows if anything had to be perfect, I would not be doing it. Okay, so I'm going to just take it that way, and then I'm going to come on the back side and put some more washi, and I'm just going to line it down the crease. Just like that. And then I'm going to take my page and I'm going to fold it. Now, you can fold it on the washi, or you can fold it, you know, however works best for you to get it to fit in your book. So I'm just going to fold this, and I'm going to bring my book over, and I'm going to do like a little bit of measuring. And so, see, this one's a little long, so I'm just going to fold it in and make it a fold over. Okay, I have a little gnat bug literally flying in my face. I don't know how he got in here. So, there's one way to do it. All right. Another way you can do it, let me find my next sheets of paper. Okay, another way you can do it is if you have two sheets you want to put together. I usually like to put, you know, these sides together. So I will take just some glue, and I just run a very small strip down. You know, these are for pages you don't want to add the washi to. You know, if you don't want the washi to cover up something on the page. So, and then I just turn it sideways. I line up this seams, and I'm just going to sit that into the glue. Okay, and you're going to have a little bit of a bead of glue, but it's okay because it's going to be in the binding, so you're not really going to see it. Okay, so then I would let it dry normally, but for video purposes we're going to go ahead and fold. So once I let it dry, then I'm just going to fold it over and put my crease in, just like that. Okay, and now I have a page that I can put in my journal. And this is not going anywhere, okay? And it's going to be stitched in, so you're not going to have to worry about it. It's going to stay in your journal, okay? So that's another way to do it. Another way you can do it, like if you have two pieces of cardstock paper that you want to put in your journal, but you want them to be, you know, upright versus, you know, folding them in half, you can make a hinge. So you just take any kind of scrap paper. Let me grab a piece of scrap here. It doesn't really matter what scrap you use. Let's just use this one. Okay, so I usually like to have about a 1/2 inch on each side. So I'm going to cut an inch strip. And then I'm just going to mark it the length of my page. And just put a little mark and trim it down to fit my page. And then I'm going to fold my hinge in half. Now you can use your oh my goodness, I can't think of the scoreboard. Couldn't think of the word. You can use the scoreboard, but I generally just fold it. And it does not have to be perfect. If I can fold today. Okay, and as you can see, I tore that a little, but you're not really going to be able to tell that it's tore. All right, so then I'm just going to turn my pages over. And I'm going to decide if I want the pretty part to show or if I want the white part to show. Because again, you're not going to really be able to see it good. So it's not really going to matter. It's just a personal preference as far as what you want. Okay. So now you can either take your glue stick or your wet glue, either one you want. And I'm just going to run a bead down through here. And you don't need a whole lot. It's not going to take a whole lot. And I'm going to run a bead of glue down through here. And then I'm going to just I'm going to line my pages up, make sure they're good lined up, and then I'm just going to lay my strip into the crease of the papers. Just like that. I'm going to burnish it down. And I like doing my burnishing with a napkin, because then if there's any glue that smushes out, you know, you can wipe that up with your napkin. Okay. And if you want to, you can put washi over that to cover it. You know, you can put you a strip of washi down through here. I think I am going to put a strip of washi down through here simply because I ripped that and I want to cover it up. Oh, this stinking washi. He don't want to cooperate at all. Okay, and he's cute, so we'll just put him on there. Doesn't matter if he's ripped. We'll just line him back up. Maybe. We might line him back up. Oh, come on. Y'all know it's because I'm on camera, right? Okay. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect because I'm not perfect and I never will be. Here's my little card. Okay. And you can leave it on one side and not on the other. I think that's how I'm going to do it. And then you have a hinge. Okay. And when you fold it, just make sure you mash it down. Make sure it gets a good hold. But now you have a page. Okay, an upright page. I think it goes this way. Okay, so that's another way to do it. And then another way to do it, sorry about my reach, is I have packing tape. It's a good wide tape. I always have packing tape because I'm constantly shipping packages. And say you have a vintage page that you want to add to your journal and you don't want to fold it. These are a little brittle. They're from the late 1800s from a German devotional. And isn't that just beautiful writing on those pages? And so I want to put this in the book. But as you can see, it's not complete in the center. So to sew this into a signature, I would be taking a chance that it would rip out of the journal. So I'm going to turn it sideways, and I am just going to take some packing tape and kind of measure, tear a piece off, and I'm just going to lay my packing tape right down on top of this. And then pull it up, flip it over, and I always like to leave a little extra to fold over the edges. To me, that just gives it a little more stability, makes it a little more sturdy. And then I'm going to take another piece and kind of measure and put it on this side. And I try to line it up and get it as flat as possible so there's not any bubbles, but it really doesn't hurt anything either if there are a little bit of bubbles. Okay, and so now I just fold it in half, put the crease in my tape, and you can sew this directly into your journal because that tape is very sturdy. It's not going anywhere. Where are we on our time? Okay, we're at 16 minutes. We're doing good. So that's another way to do it, because I know a lot of people have said that, you know, they don't trust the washi. So if you don't trust the washi, I promise you this packing tape is not going anywhere. Okay, so that's another way to do it. And then one of the last ways that I do it is with fabric. So hang on, I'm gonna grab some fabric. Okay, so I have this little bin of fabric scraps. And so I'm just going to grab one that's going to be long enough. I think this one, let me see. We'll use, so say you want to just put 2 plain sheets of paper in there, you know, colored sheets or plain sheets or whatever. So let's just see. And look, that one is the perfect size. So we'll just use that one. Hello. Okay. So now you have to decide, do I feel like sewing on paper today, paper and fabric, or do I just want to glue it? And then you can decide. You do it either way you want to do it. I'm going to show you both ways so that you can, you know, you'll know how to do it either way. Now, this strip is a little bit big for what I want, so we're going to cut him down a little. I think if we cut him down this way, gonna rip it and try and get rid of the extra little strings. You can rip it, you can cut it, whatever look you're going for. It all works the same way. I like to have the tattered edges. Okay, now we're going to have strings that just keep coming. There we go. This should do it. Okay, so here again, we're going to line up our pages. So we'll make sure they're straight and lined up really well. And then you're going to decide, do I want to just glue them or do I want to glue and sew? Because whichever decision you make is going to decide which kind of glue you're going to use. If you're going to just do glue, then I would use wet glue. So Aleene's or Fabri-Tac, either one will work. Just be aware that if you use a wet glue, you may see it a little bit through the paper, but again, that's going to be in the hinge of your book, or in the binding of your book, so you're really not going to see it. So you would just glue your strip of glue on each side and just glue your fabric down. Now, I'm not going to do it that way because I am going to show you the sewn way of doing this. So I'm going to use a glue stick. Okay, so I'm going to take my Uhu glue and I'm going to go right down the middle with just enough glue to hold my fabric on there while I sew it. Okay, and my Uhu glue stick is making a mess. Alright, because I made a mess. So I'm just going to spread that out a little. Line them back up. And then I'm just going to take my fabric strip and I'm just going to lay it right into that glue. Now, to me, I don't care if they're perfectly lined up, because that's just kind of how I roll. I like the shabbier look. So if they're not perfect at the top and the bottom, to me that just adds to it instead of takes away from it. Okay, so now I have my fabric on there. Let me put the lid on my Uhu glue. And so I'm going to fold this just to kind of see where my fold is. See if I like it. And I'm going to put a crease in my fabric. Okay, and then I'm going to take it to the sewing machine and I'm going to open it to the back side. You can do it on the back or the front, just as long as you can see where your crease is. And see, this is not glued down super good, so it's going to be a little loose, so you have to be careful getting it to the sewing machine. So I'm just going to take this to the sewing machine and stitch it real quick. Instead of moving my sewing machine over here, because you won't be able to see me sewing it anyways. So I'm just going to go sew it real quick and I'll be right back. Okay, so now I have stitched it onto the fabric. Okay, so it's stitched on both sides. Now you can fold it this way and have your hinge be on the inside, or you can fold it this way and have your hinge be on the outside. It's really not going to matter. And you can even add a strip of fabric in here, or you can add some washi tape in here. If you don't want to see this seam, add some washi tape. We're going to get a different washi tape. I'm not fighting with this one. Okay, so you can put a piece of washi tape down through the center. There are so many different ways that you can do this, y'all. It's easy, it's simple, it's quick, it doesn't take much time to do it. And then you can have your upright pages. So now I am just going to fold this so that I can get a crease in my washi. Take my bone folder and just run it down through there. Now if you want to sew another one here, sew it however you want to sew it. It's your journal, but these are just the basic simple ways of, you know, putting a signature together. So you have fabric. I will tell you this though, if you use fabric, it will thicken up your spine. So it's going to be a little, you know, it's going to add some bulk to it. So just be aware, you know, that if you use the fabric to do it, it will add bulk to your journal. Okay. So now I'll kind of show you. You have the fabric. You have packing tape. You have a hinge, a paper hinge. You have just a glued page, and see, once that glue dries, that's not going anywhere. So you can put that in there. Make sure you get your, I'm going to uncrease this for a second, and that way it lines up well. You have your washi hinge, your glued and washi hinge. You have just your notebook hinge. I have a ledger hinge here. So those are ways that you can get your pages upright. Okay, and so here's our cover. And so this would just go into the journal like this, and I would just stitch it right on in. You know, you'll want to cut down your pages. If you're going to cut down your pages to fit inside your journal, like if you have a smaller journal, you can do it the same way. Excuse me. You can do it the same way. Just cut your pages before you sew. You You can cut your pages after you tape or glue, but I would suggest that you cut your pages before you sew because it'll be a little harder to cut through that fabric. So anyways, those are several ways that you can have your pages upright in your journals. So we have glue and washi tape. We have just glue. We have a hinge and washi tape with glue, packing tape, and fabric. So I'm sure there are many other ways to do it as well, but these are just a few that I use when I make my larger size journals. So hopefully that helped. If you have any comments or questions, leave them in the comment box below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for me if you will, and I hope y'all have a great day. Big hugs.